Hello everyone. In today's class, we will discuss the chapter The Living World, and this is the part 2. In the previous class, we have discussed about diversity, biodiversity, nomenclature, binomial nomenclature, identification and classification. In today's class, we will talk about classification, taxonomy, taxa categories rank, taxonomic hierarchy and systematics. Now, before I start the class, I want you to read the question. Choose the correct statement. The process of classification is mainly limited to naming of organisms. Number B. Taxonomic study consists of external and internal structure, ecological information, development process, structure of cell. Number C. Systematics does not take into account the evolutionary relations between organisms. A, B, C. You have to answer this question after the class. Okay, now let's focus in the class. Now what is classification? Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into what? Into convenient categories based on observable characters. Why do we need to divide them into convenient categories? Because we have to study them. We have to simplify the study of so many organisms. Okay, now let me ask you a question from the previous class. How many known organisms are there? Known living organisms, species are there. Okay, the question is how many known living species are there. Okay, this is 1.7 million to 1.8 million. Option A. Option B, 1.9 million to 2.0 million or 2 million. Option C, 1.7 to 1.8 billion, or C or D, none of the above. So which is correct? You will say, sir, option A. Okay, now since there are so many organisms, so we have to classify them to simplify their study. If you classify them, only then you would be able to study them in a simpler way, or otherwise things would get complicated. Okay, now easily observable characters. What are easily observable characters? Suppose if I give you an example, feather, beaks, wings are seen in, you will say these are seen in, sir, birds. So these are the morphological or observable characteristics of birds. If I say identify the plant which has spines, lives in desert and is thick, you will say, sir, these are cactus. Okay, so you have identified them mainly based on the observable characters. Okay, so why do we classify? As I have already told, to simplify the study of so many organisms. Clear? I hope it is clear. Now our next topic is taxonomy. The process, it is a process. What is taxonomy? It is a process by which all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. We will learn about taxa next. Now this classification is based on characteristics. Now what are the different types of characteristics? It can be external and internal structure, structure of cell, developmental process, okay, and ecological informations. Now what are external and internal structure? External, you will say, sir, these are feathers, as I have already told, beaks, you can say hairs in case of mammals. Okay, in internal structure you will study about various systems like digestive, respiratory. Okay, these systems form the internal structure, mainly the internal structure. So external and internal structures play a key role in taxonomic study. Now, structure of cell. Structure of cell, you will see, if I tell you identify the difference between animal and plant cell. Animal and plant cells. So based on the structure of cells, you can identify and classify that organism, and this forms the basis of taxonomic study. One of the basis of taxonomic study. Okay. Now you have, this is your homework. You have to find the difference between animal and plant cells. Okay. Development processes. Now, what are development processes? There are various types of development processes. I will give you an example. One is the development through larval forms. Another is there is no larval form in the development. So one is presence of larval form. Presence of larval forms. Another is absence of larval forms. See, these are not given in your NCERT. This is just for concept, okay, so that you can get your concepts cleared. Okay. Now next is ecological information. Give me an example of ecological information. One is habitat. Okay. Habitat means if an organism is either terrestrial or it is aquatic. Now, what are terrestrial organisms and aquatic organisms? Terrestrial organisms are organisms that mainly lives on land, and aquatic are organisms that mainly lives on water. Also, ecological information, you can say that organisms feeding habit like autotrophic or heterotrophic. I hope you know what is autotrophic. Autotrophic means the organism that can produce their own food, and heterotrophic means the organisms that cannot produce their own food. Okay, I hope you have understood till here. Now write down this note, just note it down. Characterization, identification, classification and nomenclature are basic to taxonomy. Okay. Now next is taxa. As I have already told that we will discuss taxa next. So what are taxa? The convenient categories that are used to study organisms. Now what are these convenient categories? Categories means type of division. You have to divide organisms. Suppose you have divided organisms into animals, plants, mammals, angiosperms, dogs and cats, mango. Okay. Now each of them form a category. So single category is called taxon, and each of them is called taxon. All of them together form a plural nature or plural in nature called taxa. All taxons are called taxa. Okay. Categories are the unit of what? Unit of classification. If there is a question, which of the following are the units of classification, you will say, sir, categories. Each category represent a rank. So animal is a rank, plants form a rank, mammals will form a rank, angiosperms will form a rank, cat and dog, mango will form a rank. Rank is order, type of order, means higher rank, lower rank. Okay. In classes you have seen higher rank, lower rank, first boy, first girl, then second boy, second girl. That is ranking, higher and lower. Okay. Now category, note this down. Categories are called taxon. So each category is termed as taxon. A unit of classification. Okay. Unit of classification. What is the unit of classification? Category is the unit of classification. What is the unit of classification? Category is the unit of classification. Since category denotes a rank or taxon, so taxon or rank is also called a unit of classification. Let me explain it from here. Since each of them is a category and each of them form a rank, so each of them is a unit of classification, and all of them together or so many taxon together are known as taxa, that is the plural form. I hope the concept is clear. Okay. Now subspecies is the lowest category in plants and animals. Is it correct or true? It is. Is it correct or false or wrong? It is wrong, because species is the lowest category in plants and animals. Write this down. Okay. Now we will further study about taxa, categories and rank. Suppose if I give you two organisms, one is mango and the other is tiger. Okay. The scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica, where indica represents the species and Mangifera represents the genus. Okay. Panthera tigris, it is the scientific name of tiger. So where Panthera represents the genus and the tigris represents the species. I hope it is clear. Now if you move further, you will see the family for mango is Anacardiaceae and the family for Panthera or tiger is Felidae, then Sapindals and carnivore respectively. Then you will get Chordata phylum in case of animals. Okay. Then there is kingdom plant and animalia. I hope it is clear. Now species and genus, these are the lower ranks, and the phylum, kingdom, order, these form the higher ranks. Okay. Now rank, category and taxon is clear. Now next is taxonomic hierarchy. See, all the categories, if you arrange them in order from species to kingdom, this is called taxonomic hierarchy. So all the categories together constitute what? Taxonomic hierarchy. Okay. Now let us study what is a species. First we will study the definition of species. It is a basic fundamental unit of classification. If somebody asks you what is the basic fundamental unit of classification, you will say it is a species. Now, the definition of species is a group of similar organisms capable of interbreeding in nature to produce viable fertile offspring. What does it mean? Means they can breed among themselves in nature, in natural way, and produce viable fertile offspring. Viable means healthy, fertile offspring, that means the offsprings would be fertile. Suppose if I give you from this definition, that suppose there is a couple, the male and a female. Okay. Now if I say their offspring is infertile, does that mean they are not species? Is it correct? No, it is wrong. They are still species. Even if their offspring is infertile, they are species, because there must be some complications for which their species, for which their offspring couldn't be healthy and fertile. But that doesn't mean they are infertile, because overall populations of human beings can reproduce among themselves and produce fertile offspring. Okay. It is what the overall species of the population can do. Okay. Now let's study species and genus, then we will study it up to kingdom. First is, if I give you 4 animals, examples of lion, tiger, jungle cat and domestic cat. The domestic cat, the scientific name is Felis catus, jungle cat Felis caus. For lion it is Panthera leo, for tiger it is Panthera tigris. Okay. Now leo and tigris are the scientific names, and these represent species. Leo and tigris represent species, and it must be underlined. Okay, remember to underline. Now the Panthera and Felis, these also should be underlined. Okay, so these are genuses. Panthera and Felis are genus. So Leo and Tigris and Catus and cows are the species. Means Leo means lion, and lion can interbreed among themselves and produce fertile offspring. Similarly, cats can produce among themselves and produce fertile offsprings. Now, genus for the cats, the genus is Felis, and for the lion and tiger it is Panthera. Okay, now Panthera are big cats and can roar, and Felis are small cats and they cannot roar. That is the difference. Okay, now the family, both of them form a similar family, that is Felidae. Means they have retractable claws to keep them sharp. Means their claw can be taken back, they are not exposed, so that they can be kept sharp. Now in case of Canidae, the dog and wolf, they have non-retractable claws. Means the claws are exposed. Okay, and both form the order Carnivora. And then there are Mammalia, then Chordata, and finally Animalia. Okay, Animalia is the kingdom, Chordata is the phylum. Okay, now similarity in species. Suppose a lion and a lion will be more similar than a lion and a cat. So lion similarity is more, while as the genus cat genus is different, lion genus is different, so their similarity decreases. Similarly, as we go up the hierarchy towards the kingdom, the similarity decreases. Finally, if we see in case of kingdom, if we say plant A, then the difference between the animal and plants is huge. Okay, so similarity as we go up the order decreases. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now your next topic is systematics. Now what is systematics? Systematics arrangement of organism is called systematics. It takes into account evolutionary relationship. This is the most important term, evolutionary relationship, in case of systematics. Now let me explain you. Suppose if I tell you I have given you 5 organisms: insect, fish, bird, cat, humans, and I have told you to distinguish between them based on characters, to classify them. It is a cladogram. Okay, this is called a cladogram, where you see these branches and the name of organisms. It is not important for you, just for your understanding I am explaining this. Okay, suppose you take the vertebra and place it here. Now this vertebra separates the insects from the other organism. Means all of them have vertebra, but the insect do not have any vertebra. Then you take lungs. These all have lungs, but the fish and the insect do not have lungs. Okay, next is cats and humans. Now the cats and humans have hairs. Do the bird have hairs? They do not have hairs. Okay, this hair separates the birds from cat and humans. Okay, I hope it is clear. So the characters help you to identify the evolutionary relationships, that which characters are not there as the animals have evolved, which characters are there and not there. Okay, note down. Modern definition of species was given by Ernest Mayr. And he is called the Darwin of the 20th century. Okay, he is called the Darwin of the 20th century. Now choose the correct statement. I have given you 3 statements. Choose the correct statement and answer them. See, kingdom is the basic unit of classification. Carolus Linnaeus is known as the Darwin of 20th century. The binomial nomenclature, the family and the genus names are mainly used. So kingdom is the basic unit of classification. Is it true? It is wrong. So what is the basic unit of classification? Tell me. It is species. Now Carolus Linnaeus is known as the Darwin of the 20th century. Is it correct? No. Ernest Mayr will be the answer. Now binomial nomenclature, the family and the genus names are used. That is also wrong. So in binomial nomenclature, genus and species name are used. Okay, this is the question from your previous class. Now let's go to the question that we have taken first while beginning our class. Okay, now choose the correct statement. The process of classification is mainly limited to naming of organism. Is it limited to only naming of organism? Can it be correct? No. Classification means grouping of organism, classifying organisms. Why? To make the process of studying of organisms easier. Taxonomic study consists of external and internal structure, ecological information, development process, structure of cell. It is clear-cut correct. Okay. Systematics does not take into account evolutionary relations between organisms. Is it correct? It is completely wrong. It is exactly opposite of what systematics is. So okay. Thank you everyone.